Right, I'm delighted to say that Shane Curran is with us to talk to us about the Rossies and what the revolution that's happening there. Shane, good morning to you. How are you?
Good morning, fellas. How are you all? All good.
Well, as a Kildare man, I'm excited for you. I wonder how you feel about the whole thing.
Roscommon man, we're all very excited down in Roscommon with the start that Davy has got off to with the team. It's been an incredible start, and I suppose wins breed confidence, and now it's a case of looking forward to every game in the league, as opposed to maybe at the start of the league wondering where we were going to pick up 3 points in any game, really. And over the last, I think, 7 or 8 seasons, been yo-yoing up and down between Division 1 and 2. League wins were hard come by, apart from, I suppose, in Division 2 last year, where they won every game and went unbeaten, and are now still unbeaten in the league over 2 seasons. So it's been a great start. It has given everyone a shot in the arm and a bit of confidence. It's given supporters a big boost, and I'd liken it maybe to the start of the Arteta, maybe top eras with Arsenal and Liverpool. That the supporters feel connected and great crowds in the Hyde, and it's super to see.
In fairness, the Club Roscommon, the Friends of Roscommon, the organisers had long been, really active, and were just crying out for something to get behind. And at various stages, as you say, the team would come up and there would be a surge of optimism, and then they go back down. But this feels just a little bit different for a couple of reasons. And I know a lot of people out there are going to be like, it's only the league, you're getting carried away. But we're supposed to get carried away. We love sport. The whole point about this is that we love it and we're entitled to. But I think that the foundation here is a really good team over the last 5, 6, 7 years. And as far as I understand, he trialled 90 players before settling on the squad. That's one aspect of this. And then the other aspect is that the style of play is really aggressive and hard-working and consistent. It's something that you can now go, there's a pattern of play emerging from these games that has the fingerprints of the manager, and that's getting the best out of the players. So why wouldn't you be getting excited about it?
Yeah, it's true. I suppose really I take my supporters hat off, and I kind of go to games more looking at it from an analytical point of view, a managerial and a coaching point of view than maybe a supporter. And while you're going as a supporter, I don't even get a chance to get to many games now because I'm coaching in Westmeath, but you get to see them on television and you get to analyse it a little bit more. And as you alluded to there, 100%, there is a style and there is a definitive way of playing, and there is a hardness about Roscommon as well, which is good. I think over the last couple of seasons, a bit of softness crept in terms of how we played the game. We like to play the game too slow, too lateral, on the players' terms as opposed to on the team's terms, and that certainly has changed. And Davy, to his credit, I think really the recruitment has been hugely important. Obviously, Martin McHugh has come in from Donegal. He's put his stamp on it. I was talking to one of the players coming off a plane recently, and to have an All-Ireland winner in the dressing room with the players, it gives it huge validity, and gives them huge scope for believing in what's been said. And their strength and conditioning, Noel Flynn is there. He's of Rossi blood, has been there before. I think with Kevin McStay, very, very good guy. And then we've Eddie Lohan, who Eddie has been involved with numerous underage squads, and from the famous Lohan family of Roscommon greatness. And he's in the dressing room there, and he's coaching the forwards. And you can see that there's people invested in the team, invested in the players, and it seems that nobody is guaranteed their place on the pitch, which I think, there's been a certain lethargy with the team over the last number of years. You nearly pick it 1 to 15 or 1 16, 17 every single week. But now, you've got the likes of Dara Craig has come in, you've got Ben O'Carroll, you've got Robbie Dolan, all right around under 20 teams over the last couple of years. Tiger Oak has come back to steady the midfield and do very well, and they've done all that while Eddie Nolan is out injured, Ultan Harney is gone for the year, and Ronan Daly. So they were 3 massive losses to Davy before he ever went to a trial at all, and he's just got on with his job, got on with no excuses, and they've got the win against Tyrone, which was a huge confidence booster, and went obviously then to Galway and won, and last weekend again Armagh. I think we have to kind of maybe temper it as well, in terms of that. I think myself that a lot of teams are at different stages of the season now, bearing in mind where and when the championship starts. But for Roscommon, it was hugely important that we arrest that kind of bi-yearly cycle of up and down, and it looks like we've done that this season and can look forward to the championship now with Mayo on the 9th of April with a lot of confidence.
A staggering state of affairs where you have Division 1 where Connacht have the first, second and third after 3 games. No Leinster team. So it's a bizarre. I see Lee Keegan is saying it's a division that nobody wants to win. But the one thing I would say, Shane, when Davey came on, he was on here on OTB AM. It was a few months ago now, but I was working that morning, and what really struck me was I sort of put it to him, like, you're taking over here, like, what is the upside of this job? Like, you're taking over from a good manager in Anthony Cunningham. Roscommon have won a couple of Connacht titles, they're in Division 1. Where's the upside to this? And he's like, the potential of this forward line is what really does it for me. And it really struck me, and I remember there was a big reaction from Roscommon fans on social media as well, and it's obviously rubbing off this belief that he's inculcating in the squad.
100%, and he's been involved with Maynooth as well, so he's seen a good bit of the talent maybe coming through from the pressures and from the competitions in terms of the underage talent. He said Colin Walsh there as well in Maynooth that was involved with the Roscommon under-20s, and look, he obviously knows the inside track in terms of the amount of young people that are around. And what I like about Davey is that he's not made any excuses, and he's been very, very confident now. He's talked. He's an affable guy. He's obviously a good coach, and his belief system and his positivity has rubbed off on the players, and I think that's crucial. But he's interspersed that in with players as well that are hungry. The likes of Dara Craig is a huge player. Has been very, very good for DCU recently. Top talent. His dad Jerry played for the county, so he has that blood in him and wants to play for Roscommon and wants to thrive with Roscommon, and that's hugely important. And I think once you have that, and once you have that fighting spirit within a team, within a squad, to make training sessions really competitive, well, then I think that's where we've seen the difference over the last 6 to 8 months, where I think it had got stale under previous managements, and the recruitment, as I said, and the coaching staff has been very, very good, and that's key to it. I think there's nobody guaranteed their place, even though some of the older stalwarts like Niall Daly have been absolutely fantastic as well, and Enda Smith when he started or played or come on has made a difference, with Tony Smith also on the sideline, and young Cox. So the squad seems to be getting deeper, and certainly there's energy in their play. There's energy in how they want to play. There's a focus on going after the ball, and I think that's very good. And I think if they can keep that up, certainly I think the next 2 or 3 games are going to be difficult. Kerry and Mayo are going to be difficult, and I think they'll be targeting Donegal and Monaghan to try and make sure and ensure that Roscommon stay up. And
sorry, Shane, yeah, that's the compelling thing. Ger's always gone on about the league and all that, and like these games, they're so in their own, there's such a narrative behind them, because if you look at the 3 Connacht managers now, Pádraig Joyce under huge pressure this year because we got to an All-Ireland final last year, despite the fact this year's going to be harder. Kevin McStay has come in, Mayo are always thereabouts, but Roscommon now have created this pressure in the sense that the fans are starting to believe you've won 3 games, you're already sort of not going to get relegated. So between now and that Mayo game you mentioned, there is a slight kind of pressure in the sense of, well, how do we better this, and what if we start losing games, and what if we go into the Connacht Championship on the back of, we'll say, 4 defeats in a row?
Well, I think pressure is a privilege, and when you're at this level, you have to embrace that pressure, and you have to take it on board, and you have to grow under it, and you have to grow under the constraints of it as well. And it will bring certain elements for certainly for the younger players, where there will be questions asked of them. There will be bad days. There's no doubt about that. And I think when they have those little blips and those bumps in the road, that's really the time that we need to stick with them and keep developing them on the pathway that they're on. It won't be simple. I think, as you alluded to there, well, Pádraig and Kevin are at different stages of their careers, and certainly their teams are at more mature levels, I feel, even though Mayo, you may argue, are rebuilding. Their teams are at more mature levels from an S&C point of view than Roscommon's are. And I think Roscommon at the moment are surviving on the skill of the players, the skill of the management.
Sorry, on that, does that imply though that their S&C wasn't up to scratch going into this regime, or why would they be behind?
I think it's well known. It's not like I'm not offering up an opinion. It's well known that our S&C is quite a bit behind where it should be at this level. The reasons for it, I'm not 100% sure, but there's been a lot of coming and going with different S&C people over the last number of years. So we haven't really got that foundation or that consistency in our S&C, and I think it's something that needs to be addressed. Certainly at underage level, there's not the same programs or there's not the same emphasis on it as there is in other counties. And I think if you were to ask Davy if there's any area that he'd like to improve in his team, I think S&C would be one of them. That said, I think sometimes we have to be very careful, I think, in football too, that we balance the pylon in terms of what's good and what's bad. We have got very skillful footballers. We've a strong tradition of producing really good forwards right back to the 40s, 50s into Charlie McManus era, Frankie Dolan era, and now with the Murtas and Smiths and et al. So that era, that issue has never been a problem. It's kind of ensuring that the strength and conditioning is right and the supports are right around these players is crucial now for the next 5 to 6 years.
Shane, I'm working on a half-baked theory, and it's still only half-baked, so if the cake flops, then so be it. But I think that this is going to be a very random year because it's the first time that we've had a new championship where there's going to be a round robin after the provincial championships, which dictate who ends up in the All-Ireland quarterfinals. So we don't honestly know how well you need to be playing at this stage of the season. The other corollary that we don't know is that this has been concertinaed in now to 12-14 week period. So this might be the only year we ever get the opportunity for this to happen. But I feel like there's a possibility that we get a Leicester style, a team comes, starts playing well, keeps playing well, gets confidence, and then never dips because there isn't actually a break in you playing. So in that group of teams who could be Leicester, I would have Derry. I would kind of still have Galway because they haven't yet established themselves as like perennial All-Ireland contenders. You'd have had Armagh there. And then if Roscommon keep winning, like all of a sudden you're like, actually, you know what? Because they have forwards. You can't, loads of counties, really great defensive structures, take 4 or 5 years to get an offensive plan going.
Gets you so far.
You guys have it already.
Yeah, we definitely have forwards, but we do have that, and I think we have to. Our system has to be balanced on being very effective going forward and taking advantage of all of the pluses that we have up there. I think defensively, we are defending in numbers now. We're defending really, really hard and very rigidly and very strongly. Is it sustainable over a full season? I'm not too sure, but what we have at the moment is confidence, and confidence is everything in sport. And once you can keep building on that without it being chipped away at too much, and certainly when play Mayo and the Hyde in a couple of weeks' time, Kerry away, if those performances are at the level that these performances have been over the last 3 weeks, well, then you're looking forward into the championship. But it's very, 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 very close. Into the league, I think we're 2 weeks out to the Mayo game on the 9th of April.
Yeah.
So it's
a league final in between.
There's nothing in between, and possibly a league final, correct. And I don't necessarily think at the moment the Roscommon squad is deep enough to kind of hang that. And we've got to also, I suppose, take into account that probably two of the best teams in the country, Derry and Dublin, are playing in Division 2 at the moment as well. So,
are you eating my half-baked cake?
Yeah, and I think we never know. I think we might be a Brighton or a Brentford. I'm not so sure if we can be a Leicester just yet.
But I do think there's a possibility that, like, if Dublin are slightly off where they have been in recent seasons, and with McCaffrey and Mannion back, they might not be, but there's a possibility they might be a little bit undercooked coming through Division 2 and don't quite reach the pitch that they're at. Kerry, traditionally when Jack O'Connor has done well, there's been a really good, strong, solid league campaign because of the shortened season, because they had the team holiday, because two of their clubs went to All-Ireland finals. They haven't had the full strength and conditioning work done that they want to do. Then all of a sudden this is a bit more open. I mean, who knows? Like Cork could come from nowhere.
No, absolutely. It is certainly. I think the All-Ireland Championship this year will be a lot more open. And Roscommon, the expectations in Roscommon always really do well when expectations are dampened a little bit. Now expectations are quite high, but I also think, to be fair, among supporters and among certainly the management fraternity and coaching fraternity who talk about the games. There is a realisation that there's been a brilliant job done, but there's an awful lot more work to do. And, we kind of tapered and try and dampen maybe that huge expectation that's been created now by the media, which is all very good. I think it's great to see the kids, for example, on the Hyde last weekend, meeting the players and chatting to the players. And I think we've lost that we lost that over the last 10 or 15 years for some reason. But post-COVID, I think see kids out on the pitch, looking at their heroes, touching their heroes, getting their signatures and all that sort of stuff. That's all brilliant for a county like Roscommon. And we need that in abundance all the time. And the league gives us that opportunity. And as I said, there will be bumps in the road, and the championship will come, and it may not go necessarily how we felt it would come. But if you said to a Roscommon supporter 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago that we'd survive in Division 1, we'd do quite well in the All-Ireland series and win a couple of games, we would take that, and everything else after that is a huge bonus. And I think we've got to give huge credit to Davy and his backroom team, and I think, to be honest about as well, the players, for the way they've knuckled down, got to the job, and started doing it in the way that we feel they can do, with the support that they have around them.
Shane, great to talk to you again. Thanks a million. Cheers.
Pleasure all mine, guys. Pleasure all mine.
Shane Curran there.